Welcome back to the Coalition of Friends YouTube channel. My name is Garrett, and today I'm bringing you a review for The New Mutants. This is the newest X-Men film that has been in post-production hell for 2 years? It's been a while since this movie's been supposed to come out. It's finally out. I'm gonna talk about it. Of which, given its history, this movie is surprisingly better than I thought it would be, which is just super good. I thought this movie was going to be pretty bad, but I had a lot of fun and enjoyed it. What took me so long to enjoy this movie is it took a while for me to understand what this film was about. Yes, it's a horror-esque X-Men movie, but the horror is very PG-13, except when you get to like the halfway point on. Those thrills are really fun, those scares are fun. This movie has a better Slender Man than the Slender Man movie has, and I commend this film for that. Those were creepy-ass fucking things. But the film is about trauma and how to get over your trauma. And this movie presents trauma in various different ways. Whether it be as you're a kid, as you're preteen, growing up, different levels of trauma, different things have happened. And with our main cast, our 5 different characters, we get 5 different ways trauma happened to them. We're going to start with Maisie Williams, who plays Rain Sinclair. Now, her trauma is that when she discovered her mutant abilities, she is very religious. I believe Ireland or Scotland, somewhere. I'm not exactly sure. She doesn't say in the film. I should be able to know just by what the priest is wearing, but I don't. But she went to go confess that she had powers, and she killed someone for that. That is her trauma. And Maisie Williams does a fantastic job in this film. I love her. She's such a good actress, such a good person. She just knocks out of the park with this film what she has to do. Next is Anya Taylor-Joy, who plays Ilyana Rasputin, or Magic, and she is fantastic in this film as well. You think that at first she is a little bit too niche of a mean girl. Over time, her trauma is developed as something that happened in her childhood, and her dissociation in her mind, because like what happened was so fucked up that she's kind of not really fully there. She has some mental issues she's working through, and this makes her character a lot more developed as the movie goes on. I love what Anya Taylor-Joy does in this film. She gets the one fuck, and it's great. Happy to see that in a Marvel movie. Charlie Heaton plays Sam Guthrie, and his trauma is he found out his powers. He was working in a coal mine, and that is further developed as the movie goes on. You don't really know what it is at first, but he explains it to you. And with the way he's dealing with his trauma is he is sentencing himself to be in this program as long as possible so he doesn't hurt anyone else again. And I like what they do with his character. It was weird seeing Charlie Hutton have a southern accent after all the Stranger Things work he's done, but it worked, and I found it quite enjoyable what he did. Henry Zaga plays Roberto da Costa, and he has a lot of fun stuff. He comes from a rich family in the film. He's all the smugness that a rich person would be, and that gets peeled away because his trauma is he killed someone important in his life with his powers. And so he's afraid of his powers, he doesn't want to talk about them, and when he gets more vulnerable, that's when his character becomes a lot of fun. This movie gets better as it goes along. Kind of okay for a film to do, but like halfway through the movie, it's just good till the end. I love what this movie does, but the setup is a little bit wonky, which is fine. And finally, Blue Hunt plays our lead character, Danielle Moonstar. This film she is our main protagonist. It is a group movie, but she is the one that we start it with and get more of the backstory rather than finding out through what other characters say. We actually live it with her. Her trauma is, you see in the movie, and she is dealing with guilt internally, and the relationships she gains with these other kids, that helps her, and it's fun to see that happen. Truthfully, I didn't take a lot of notes for this film. I was very engaged with what was happening. I don't think the scares were really scary for a lot of it. I know it could be like a thriller. If you're marketing it as horror, I would rather it be a little bit more scary. Maybe see what the R rating could have done. I know there were reshoots planned. I would have liked to know what those were, but we didn't get them, and so this is the movie we have today. Cinematography and directing. The stuff at the beginning is a little bit iffy. There's a lot of snow involved, and so it looks very digitally added in, the snow, and it's really hard to make out what's happening in that scene. Otherwise, every other digital effects that were used worked pretty well. The smiling men, the big finale sequence was very fun, very effective. I mean, when you have this slow burn build-up, which I would say this is a slow burn-ish, stuff gets more intense as the film progresses, which is very good, probably why I liked it more engaging scares. And the development of the characters progresses along with the film. Once things start getting revealed and these characters become characters rather than a stereotype that they could be at the beginning of the film, that is what I liked more. The writing is really iffy at the beginning of the film. Everything's iffy at the beginning of the film, which is weird. I don't know why this is the case with this movie. Maybe they just didn't really know how to start it. They definitely didn't know how to fucking end it, which is a big problem I have with this movie. And Hollywood in general, right now, has a big problem with franchises ending their films. And I'm gonna make a video about this maybe soon, if not at some point. It just leaves it very open-ended, but it doesn't tell you whether these characters are better off than they were. Yes, we know that they are, but I don't know what's going to happen with them. Is there an end credit scene? No. We don't get any hint at what's going to happen with these characters. Most likely, we're not going to see them ever again, because we're not going the Fox 20th Century Studios route with these X-Men movies, and they're just going to be part of the MCU. So unless they just have two separate universes that they're like, okay, this is the Fox universe, this is the Disney universe, just know that this franchise can still happen, but we're only going to do it with these New Mutants. I would like that. I want to see what these characters do next. The film is also only 90 minutes, and I really wish it could have been maybe 10 minutes longer. There are some really, really good scenes between characters, and this is where development happens, and it's emotional, and it's dramatic, and they just abruptly cut these scenes where they could have gone for like 3 or 4 minutes more with them, and I would have still been engaged. There's a scene where all the main characters are playing with a lie detector and asking each other questions. That was a very good scene, very good character scene. There's a scene later between Ileana and Danny that's very, very good. I want more, but it cuts it short. This movie doesn't want to give the time needed for these scenes because it wants to just get to the next scare, get to the next scare, get to the next action scene. What's fun about seeing this movie compared to every other X-Men movie is this is very much a bottled film. Really, we're in one main location that has separate little places to make scenes different and there be a story and have variation in your scenes. A lot of other X-Men films are big movies. You know, lots of time and space is carried within these films, and this is like 3 days, maybe a week tops, and it works. You have enough time to build your character relationships, give us enough time to find out what's happening with these characters, keep everything going at a quick pace. It is a very fast-paced movie. There's always something happening, which is very good. I was never bored with this film. I had a lot of fun. And in the end, that's what a movie should do. You should be entertained, which I was. Again, surprisingly, this movie could have been very bad, and it wasn't. I had a lot of fun with it. The cinematography is great throughout most of the film. Beginning is iffy. The writing is great. Your characters are really well developed and acted exceptionally well by the actors in this film. The build-up of the scares makes sense. Wish some of the ones at the beginning were a little bit more scary. Overall, this movie is an 8 out of 10 for me. I'd like to see what they can do more with these characters if Disney is willing to put into the money for it. So if you've seen the New Mutants, let me know in the comments down below what you thought about it. If you like this review, give it a like. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye! Marilyn Manson is in this movie as the voice for all the Smiley Men. Fun. Didn't know that was gonna be a thing. You sneaky, sneaky trailer. I know what you did. You thought you tricked us. Good on you, trailer. You're a good trailer. Good job.